to say thank you all for being here again. I welcome Tiffany for being here, and thank you so much. And I just want to also just dedicate this time that we have as a voice that we have for the divine feminine, and also our own voices. We are the divine feminine. We are that representation. We are that in the embodiment of her and of the message of what it means to be a woman at this time, what it means for us in the multidimensionality of who we are at this time, and to really hone that message in a deeper way, you know, like really tie it into what does it mean to be an archetype, and how does ascension work with that in whatever way that comes through us. And, you know, you're using Kali, Aimee, and I'm using Durga.
Ah, good.
She is my baby. I'm telling you, I love Durga. And she is so needed. I want to welcome everyone here and say thank you for taking the time out of your busy life, whatever you might be doing, to join us at the Priestesses of Ascension, a conversation for our times. This is our third video. And you can find us on our Facebook page if you would like to watch this again. The Facebook page is just the Priestesses of Ascension, at Priestesses of Ascension, I believe. You can also double check the link below if you also would like to find out more about us. The Priestesses of Ascension, first of all, I'm Luminessa Enjara, and I'm your moderator for today. And the Priestesses of Ascension are a group of women that have been meeting together for over 2 years now. We have anywhere from 10 to 20 women who come and go, and our dedication is to bring forth a new message of the feminine energy, to also support other people in understanding the process of ascension and what this means for us all. And the word ascension has been used, I think, a great deal in the last year or two. And what we're saying when we say ascension is mean the embodiment of our true nature, to bring our full embodiment into the physical form now, and to live as the Christ consciousness, to live from pure love, to know our true identity. And as Priestesses of Ascension, we really dedicate ourselves to sharing the message of who we are as women, how women and the feminine is changing the planet right now, and how we can learn to utilize more of our feminine power, our feminine strength, courage, and wisdom in taking a stand, speaking out, and knowing the truth of what we believe as women, and how we can help to support the shift in creation of a new world that we're all birthing right here, right now. And with that, I would like to introduce to you Aimee Lyndon-Adams. Thank you very much. I'm going to cheat here with my notes for a moment. Aimee Lyndon-Adams is an amazing priestess. I've had the pleasure of knowing her this past year in my own priestess group. And she shares a purpose with 20 ascended master goddesses and guides whose wisdom and healing energy she channels through her hands and her words. She is the co-founder of What Truly Matters, Living Life Consciously, and is a priestess, speaker, author, teacher, and facilitator. And she is going to open today with a beautiful grounding meditation, and then she will share more about one of the topics that we're focusing on, just so you all know, is to discuss a little bit about the archetypes of the goddess. And we're all choosing one archetype that we feel would be supportive today in how we can use the feminine energy and bring her into our world, our personal world, and then into the world at large. So I pass to you now, Aimee.
Thank you so much, Luminessa, for that beautiful introduction. And we're going to just start today by bringing ourselves fully present. And that means a process that I teach. We're going to do a shorter version of it today, but it's called heart-centered grounding. So if you would be comfortable to close your eyes and uncross your legs, feet flat on the floor, and gently close your eyes. And let's just bring our awareness into our heart chakra. And from the heart chakra, on the first breath, and the breath is super important because the breath is the link between the spirit and the material. And so the breath is breathing in through the nose and out through an open and relaxed jaw, twice as long on the exhale as it is on the inhale. And so as we take our first breath on the exhale, I would like you to imagine that you're sending a cord from the base of your spine all the way down to the center of the earth. That's your grounding, your heart-centered grounding cord, your drainage cord. And then at the same time, send a cord down each of the legs and let it go out through the bottoms of the feet into the center of the earth also. Now, as you breathe these 3 cords down, you'll notice that the earth energy is going to literally bounce straight back up from the center of the earth, up the legs, up the spine, and float back into your heart. You never bring earth energy up through your central grounding cord because that's your drainage cord. You can use that during the day to release unwanted low frequency energy. So let's take a breath, breathe the 3 cords down and bring the earth energy back up into your heart. Take a breath. And now, putting your awareness on the back of your heart chakra, on the spine, traveling with the exhale up the chakra ladder. 300 feet above the top of your head is your intention and your destination, that of the 12th chakra, the direct access point to the Godhead. As you arrive, feeling the warmth of your welcome, and bring down the chakra ladder your divine birthright gifts. Divine light, divine love, divine grace, divine wisdom, and divine compassion, bringing all these gifts down the chakra ladder and placing them into your heart. Take a breath. And giving permission to your heart chakra now to allow the energies to overflow, both out of the front and the back of the heart chakra, just bathing every cell in your physical body with these highest of all frequency energies, and then allowing the energies to overflow your physical form, surrounding you in a huge golden oval shaped energy field, filled with your divine birthright gifts and with the dynamic energy of aliveness from the earth. Let's take a breath. And into this sacred space that we have co-created, I invite my own 20 Ascended Master Guides, and I invite the guides of all the beautiful priestesses gathered here, and all of your own guides as you listen to this program, and feeling the energy expand as we include these illustrious beings whose sole attention is on us to help us complete our ascension. Feeling the gratitude and feeling yourself fully present. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Thank you all. Well, the goddess I chose, or perhaps it's closer to the truth to say she chose me, is Kali, the ultra powerful Hindu goddess who rules birth, death, and rebirth. Not surprising, really, that she came into me so strongly, because this is such a huge time of endings and beginnings, and a topic I've been talking about with my own spiritual community for quite some time. So let me just take a couple of minutes to set the stage for Carly, because she has some questions she wants me to bring through to you. You see, up until now, and these are my 3 favorite words, because we are at perhaps the hugest ending and new beginning that we've ever experienced in any life we've ever had on earth, as we let go of life as we know it in the 3rd dimensional frequency and literally ascend into a much higher vibrational frequency of the 5th dimension. And just put very, very simply, 3D is all about separation, duality in linear time, competition, and conflict. And 5D is all about oneness, collaboration, reverence for all beings. And the timeline is only in the present moment. So you can see that what we need to do is to talk about what is ending and beginning in your own life as you look at this particular pivot point that we're all sitting on. COVID has given us an opportunity to look at how we spend our time, how we spend our money, how we're living our life. And we've been called to reimagine how we live, to recognize that so much of how we live was predetermined by parents, religious leaders, educators, the government, society, even the media in every bit of its forms. It's all been about telling us who we are, telling us how to behave, telling us how to fit in, and threatening us with the fear of punishment if we don't conform. So our own authenticity, our essence, even our desires have been suppressed and oppressed up until now. And we've ended up living our life playing way smaller than we ever intended in order to be safe. Does this resonate with you? Mm-hmm. It certainly does in my own life. But as I mentioned, we're at this most amazing pivot point. And it's time, as Luminessa said earlier, for us to emerge, for us to claim our voices, to claim our essence. Because one of the reasons that we wanted to come to Earth so desperately was to experience all of ourselves and put all of ourselves into our life. Most of us haven't done that yet. So Carly tells us that the old must be released for the new to enter. She asks us not to fear change or loss, but to embrace it. It makes you feel alive. Change is inevitable. It's the way we all grow. And Carly asks you these 4 questions today because she wants you to look at your old habits, your thought patterns, even your self-image, old behaviors that have kept you playing safe and small. She has these 4 questions that I'm going to share with you now. Number 1, what people keep you feeling that you have to play small and safe? Who are these people? And do you actually need to be letting go of them? So who are they? And do you need to let go of them? Perhaps a way to get into that is her second question. Who would be unhappy with you when you fully emerge into all of who you are? Just see who comes to mind in response to that question. And number 3, what are you recognizing that's ending in your life? It's just like the juice goes out of the tires. And lastly, what new beginning do you long for or you yearn for? Now, if you're proactive in making these needed changes, Kali most likely won't bother you. But if you resist, she will undoubtedly remove them from you, and in ways you may not like. Just like Mother Nature, Kali can be ruthless, but only when you are not. And so I just want to share with you that in my own life, there was a situation that I just wasn't seeing clearly. And I was tolerating, and I was putting up with it. And I was making excuses for another person's behavior. And I wasn't noticing that it was myself that was suffering, walking on eggshells, keeping myself small, not to be a bother. And literally out of left field, a set of circumstances arrived to remove that situation from my life. And in the moment, I was shocked. I was heartbroken. I was devastated. But you know, when the smoke cleared, I realized I've been set free. I wish this for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Aimee. That was wonderful. Really powerful for me too.
Wonderful.
So now I would like to introduce to you Tiffany Choi. Is it Bessie? Tiffany? Okay, I want to make sure I'm pronouncing this correctly. All right. And Tiffany is really someone that I have recently become a little bit more acquainted with. She amazed me when I'm reading her bio, and I'm very impressed. First of all, I think she is the priestess of financial abundance. She seems to have mastery in this area. She's the founder of MindRise, which is the well-being and mindfulness, an app, which is really astounding for me. So she's a technical priestess goddess too. And it's called Mindful Money, the Financial Empowerment Coaching Program. She's also the CEO of MsMoney.com. And she has appeared on many, many magazines such as Forbes and Fortune, Business Week, WSJ. She's also, and of course, lives as the priestess. A priestess is a consciousness. It's not whether or not you have a degree or you went to a school, although those really do help us to train ourselves to become more embodied and understanding what that word means. But Tiffany is a priestess in her own life, in her day-to-day actions. She's a certified practitioner of intuition medicine and rebirthing breathwork, and a graduate of the 13 Moon Mystery School and Priestess Training. So I welcome you, Tiffany, to share with us your insight and your wisdom.
Luminessa, thank you for that introduction. It is my joy and my honor to be with you all today and to share what wisdom is bubbling forth about the Divine Mother. Well, to start out with, I'm a mother of 2 children. I have an 11-year-old and an 8-year-old. And when I think of this archetype, the Divine Mother, I think of what I do in my life, which is create a place of nurturing and safety and almost like a nest, like the mother bird, so that my children can grow and thrive and have their safety and security needs met. What's happening right now in our general culture with the pandemic and a lot of the challenges the global audience faces is that we have taken a step into fear. The dark side of the Great Mother, that archetype, is the sense of abandonment, that we're not safe. And when this happens, all kinds of aberrant behaviors start to arise. And we don't find ourselves in flow. We're more grasping to try to create a safe bubble around ourselves. What I'm going to invite everyone to do today is to really imagine as I'm speaking, get my microphone up there. Imagine as I'm speaking that you're really breathing energy of the Divine Mother into your heart and imagining that your heart is just getting softer and a little bit bigger with each breath. It's more critical at this time than ever in history to tap into that unconditional love. The Divine Mother's normal sense of being is to find the beloved, is to reach out to kind of the cosmic source and feel that connection of birth. Mothers were birthers. The women in the world were coming together to birth a new earth. But in order to do that, it's so important that we self-nurture ourselves. One great step to do that is to surrender into this void. What is this that's happening and where is it going? We don't really know. What I feel confident is that we are slowly evolving more into 5D consciousness, where we can have more of that greater daily sense and connection to source. But for so many women and so many mothers out there, they're really just cornered in fear. So a way to step out of the fear, which often is where people are thinking from the back of their brain, their amygdala, they're in this fight, flight, or freeze response to the events that we're all going through at the moment. And the way to get your energy and your thinking patterns out of the amygdala is to start moving your energy to the frontal lobes. Well, how do you do that? You can do that by really centering yourself in love. If you have an opportunity, I highly recommend to listen to some of the meditations I've written on cultivating more love. You can find those in my beautiful app, Mindrise, and it really opens your heart to a greater source connection. Another way to get out of fear is to start to think about what you want to birth next. For some of us, that might be a company. So I'm a technology startup entrepreneur. I'm actually on my 5th company, which is called Mindful Money. I wanted to bring together for women specifically that mindfulness has as much of a place in financial money management than anywhere else in a woman's life. In fact, women manage the household finances in about 90% of the households. They are the financial CFO. But what often happens is they're not making wise, connected, deep dive decisions about the future and how to invest their money wisely so that they can have this nest egg, that they can have this comfort. So when they go to sleep at night, they have this sense of calm and peace to know that their finances are taken care of. And when that happens, they can really start to think, now that I know there's money in the bank, I've made wise decisions, I can see what I'm birthing next. For some women, it might be going back to school to get an advanced graduate degree. For others, starting a new company. Someone else might want to publish a book of poetry. Another woman really channeling that Divine Mother archetype might want to start volunteering at a local homeless shelter. I invite you today to think about, if you had, let's say, all your ducks in a row, what would you do? What would you do to tap into your heart and birth in your own life? And then what would you birth for your community? And what would you birth for the world? So if you just take a deep breath right now with me, just breathing in deeply, expanding your heart, and just ponder that question. Just close your eyes for a minute and think about that question. What would you birth for yourself, your community, and the world? And now another deep breath in. As someone who teaches financial money management for women, the most important lesson that I can tell someone is that when you think about money and you think about your financial future, think about love. Because when you lead from love with your life, you set values and goals and objectives you want to achieve. And so many of these are driven by your financial resources. So when you set your goals and values, you then can create a financial plan that will meet that. For some lovely women, including myself, part of my values is to give to community, to be able to have enough money flow so I can donate time, I can donate extra income, and then I have money set aside so I can be creative in new projects. And that all comes from love. And when I lead from love, divine abundance flows effortlessly into my life. In fact, throughout my career, when I've needed to manifest $1 million on 3 separate occasions, it came effortlessly into my life. So I could use that not just for my personal goals, but my community goals and my professional goals. And I truly believe that came from using that divine mother archetype to surrender and to just grow from this place of beauty, desire, birth, and love. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That was wonderful, Tiffany. So, Aimee, do you want to? I think I'm the one who's on next.
There we go. All right. So it is my delight and pleasure to more formally introduce Luminessa. I don't know if you really understand her background, but it is absolutely amazing. She's an ordained minister and priestess, Akashic Record Consultant. She's a spiritual life coach. And she really pioneered in the field of Tantra as a Tantra coach, sex educator, and certified shamanic guide to boot. She's been a teacher of metaphysical principles, meditation techniques, and conscious living for over 25 years. Luminessa, it's a pleasure to know you.
Thank you so much, Aimee. I just wanted to say my archetype is Durga, and my biggest challenge, my whole life, I have been learning how to have holy courage. I work with the Enneagram. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Enneagram, but it's an ancient system started way back in Greece. And it's an amazing, most accurate tool I've ever used to actually assist somebody in understanding not only their personality, but their higher spiritual arc. So we might start with where we are in our negative ego or negative aspects of our ego, self-identity, and then where are we going to move in our lifetime to our highest goals of achieving self-realization. And that arc, all in between, is how the Enneagram can guide us and show us. So for me, I have been what they call a 6, and the 6's greatest passion, and the passion is what runs or controls you, is that of fear, self-doubt. So my whole life, I have struggled with self-confidence, self-doubt, and I'm sure none of you can relate with me on this. The self-doubt that arises often when we're giving our gifts, or when we're looking to find our purpose, or when we're wanting to move out into the world. And one of the things I've been doing quite a bit of this last several weeks is reflecting on what I was like when I was younger. I was brazen. How is it that when we're younger, we don't care whether we know something or whether we don't know something. We just jump in. I remember being someone who spoke all over the Bay Area on relationships, and I never even had any. I remember teaching the goddess mythology and teaching about the goddess in the 1980s when it was first coming up. And all I did was study from books for 4 hours a day for a couple of months. And I said, I know more than they do. I can teach. Today, not quite so like that. I sometimes have felt that I have, as Aimee said, you know, the limitations I put on myself as a woman. I have worked with looking at what has held my voice back, why I have played small sometimes, why the work that I came here to do and to teach to women has taken me so long. You know, there are times when I've had regrets. And one of the things I know I've had to learn is to let go of the past. Once we've examined it, once we have learned some of the life lessons that the past may teach you, and that's all it's really good for, is to move on and to say, okay, now how can I move forward with this new information? So Durga is a fascinating goddess. She's a Hindu goddess, and she is actually, in a way, the mother of Kali. Kali came from Durga, and she was like the sergeant or the general who went out ahead of Durga, and together they would fight. So the story of Durga is something I heard many, many years ago, and I happened to think, I love this story. So I'm going to share it with you briefly, and then invite you to step in to calling Durga into your life. She represents courage, strength, conviction, dedication, and the desire to move forward, to take action. She's not afraid to do what it takes to meet the challenges in her own life and also in the world. So the story goes that there are the three gods, or the trinity of the Hindu gods, and that is there's Vishnu, Shiva, and Brahma. And it was at a time in the world, somewhat like today, where chaos reigned, where there was a half demon and half buffalo god who was granted by these gods the boon of immortality from all mortals and from gods or goddesses. And what he chose to do is to reign chaos. He took that in and he created armies, and he terrified the planet and the earth, and he scared and put fear into everybody's hearts. He ran havoc wherever he went. And Brahma sent his armies, and then Vishnu sent their armies, and Shiva sent their armies, and thousands of other beings of light to combat this one demon. And they could not vanquish him. They did not know what to do. It was at the last stronghold, very much like it is today, a pivotal point. What can we do? Who can we ask to help us now? And Brahma said, let us call upon Durga. Let us call upon the divine feminine, the strength, the power of the feminine. Let us call upon her. And here is the key of the story. We must ask the feminine. We must ask that divine aspect of our own inner nature to join with us to meet these challenges. So they did. And Durga said, but of course, I was just waiting for you to ask me. I am here to help. I will save the day. And of course, she knew how to outwit this demon. This was no match for Durga, but it happened over a period of a day or two. And she called Kali in, and Kali called in her forces, and they went forward. And eventually the demon was vanquished, and everyone celebrated. All the gods, there's Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, and everyone else, and the goddesses all celebrated that the earth was saved. Chaos was abated. Everything came back into harmony and order again along the of natural law. And so we learn from this story how important it is for us to sometimes call in our own Durga self. She is our courage. When you feel that you must face a challenge in your life, call upon Durga to help you to face it. When you feel that there's something outside in the world that you don't want to look at, that is challenging for you to see, ask her to open your eyes, but to meet it head on with strength of character. When you find that sometimes it's hard to even connect with someone in your life, or there's a relationship where you have something to say and you don't know how to say it, call upon Durga to have your voice, to speak through the truth, but to do so through that heart, the courage of the heart, le cœur, courage, courage. I invite you to embody this quality that I am embodying more now myself. I love Durga. Remember that she looks fierce. She has many arms. She is strong. She may even wear armor in your vision of her. And call upon her because she is ready to help you and me and the world to invite the feminine, those qualities of divine love, the qualities of divine justice, divine communication, right balance, the laws of nature, harmony with all living beings, to restore and to rebuild, to replenish, to rebirth a new age, an age where all of us, women, men, children, animals, two-legged, birds, everyone here on this beautiful planet thrive, not just survive, but truly thrive. This is our opportunity to do that. And so I invite you to do that with me now, if you choose, and on your own at any time that you feel the need to do so. Blessed Durga, we welcome you into our lives, and we thank you for your courage, your perseverance, your dedication, your wisdom, and your willingness to take action as we feel so guided to do in the right way for us in all time and in all ways. Thank you so much. Blessed be. So be it.
So be it.
And so I would like to now invite our beautiful priestess, Christy Michaels, to come in here. And just briefly, Christy is the embodiment of love for me. I always, when she's always in our circles or when she talks, she's always talking from such a full heart. She is a priestess of the Magdalene and teacher of the Gospel of Mary Magdalene. She has been a student and a teacher of the Course in Miracles for many years and is currently a teacher of the Course of Love. And I welcome you, Christy.
Thank you so much, Luminessa. And I just really want to acknowledge Luminessa for this. This is sparked out of her passion. And if you haven't had a chance to go back and watch the other videos that she's organized to do with other priestesses, every single one had major jewels. And so I just want to honor you, Luminessa, for your willingness to follow your passion and bring the voice of the priestess forward. And so we can have this dialogue, because this dialogue is so important and so needed. I became ordained a priestess on 10-10-10. And when that happened, my whole world just blew open, and I began receiving visions of ceremonies to do. And the next thing I know, I'd be standing before 200 people leading a ceremony as if I had already been doing that for my lifetime. But it was the first time, and then the second time. And then I would just wait and wonder, see what was happening. But what was happening was my connection, my yes to the priestess, the divine feminine energy, was coming through and showing me a way. And every time the way was open and the information would come in of how I could serve, because I stayed in that surrender of how can I serve the divine feminine, a vision would be given to me. But it was not just a vision. It was given to me with the power to carry it out. Everything I needed. When my voice spoke, there would be a resonance there. And as I would tell people about the vision, they'd go, oh, I want to play. I want to do that. I want to join you. And the next thing I know, people would be gathering. And sometimes we'd have 30 or 40 priestesses and priests all in ceremony around divine love. So I really appreciated Tiffany. And it's so nice to hear you and get to know you. Your work just sounds so awesome with mindfulness and money, something we so need to bring the sacred to the world of finance. Oh my God. But that directive to bring love, bring everything you're doing to be love. Because as A Course in Miracles says, the only thing that is really real is love. And we are love. And there's this split part of our mind, this separated self, this judgmental part of ourself, which says, well, you're not worthy of love, and you're and all that kind of talk is not of God. God and the goddess says you are whole. You are wholehearted. You are love itself. You are divine. And when I stepped in and claimed my ordination as a priestess, I was stepping in and claiming my divine self. And it's in that claiming of the divine self that I awoke to the truth of who I am. And so I became my true self. Now, some people will say, there's a thing of spiritual bypass and all of that. But my experience of what I've been finding is that spiritual bypass is the naysayer saying, you can't go there, that you have to deal with the shadow and everything. And the Course has a really simple, and I love it. It's like, no, when you find yourself thinking these egoic thoughts, you choose once again. And when you choose once again, you're actually able to step into the truth of who you are. Now, the Course says you're lucky if you get a holy instant, where you, in one instant, in one moment of your life, you actually are able to feel and know that your whole embodied self is divine. So we do it the best we can. That when we find ourselves in all these egoic thoughts that were judgmental thoughts or whatever, then we choose once again. And so my pick for who the archetype that I'm working with, because I'm an elder now, is the sage. Some people call the elder the crone. And unfortunately, the origins, when I looked it up, of the word crone is cranky. And there was a deserted movement among the patriarchy for centuries to minimize, diminish, push down, push away, disengage the young feminine from the elder feminine, because the patriarchy knew that if the young women were just like, oh, I have to find my prince, I'm not whole until I find my other half, and they're like out there looking. If they actually go to the elder woman, she's a woman who's had experience with men. She understands the humanity of mankind and the ways and the natures of men. And she could guide and support and encourage the emotional waters that a woman goes through in entering into a relationship with man. She can bring her wisdom about how to deal with any of the patriarchal blocks that says that you need to be small, or you can't shine as much as me, or whatever the issue is that's going on in that particular relationship. So rather than having two whole selves come together and extend and share love with each other, each person feeling authentic, 100% responsible for their own self and their own sovereignty, and then they join in the sharing, of their love, and not only with each other, but with their extended community and how they can serve their community. Now you have a powerful couple. And we do have some models of, I think, Aimee, I think you've achieved that with your relationship. I feel like, when I've heard you speak about your beloved, there is this, you feel like I see your wholeness and your joy and your wonderful, aspect of yourself. And then, of course, Luminessa, I just have to acknowledge you and your work with helping women to claim their sexuality from a place of wholeness and not, giving away their self to be able to enjoy their sexuality, to be able to embrace the truth of who they are as sexual beings. So this is all really, really important work. What I was saying is that we're seeing the rise of the priestess community because this is the first time that we really entered into a time when it's safe for us to become priestesses and to claim our divine selves. So by allowing ourselves to claim the truth of who we are, that I am love, the self-care that comes and the self-responsibility for myself, giving the strength and the courage to be able to extend love and receive guidance about how I should move forward in the world or not move forward. We now have the emergence of what I would call the sage wise woman, not the cranky crone. This is, and we are demanding to be recognized. The elder women now, you know, when my mother was an elder woman, she didn't do enough inner work to discover the power within herself of her connectedness to source. She never did any workshops. I did so many workshops over the years, and I've learned that I have a connection to source that gives me my own inner strength to be a viable and powerful person with wisdom to share. And if the young ones would come, they would find their life would be so much more joyful because they would get the benefit rather than having to get lost and overwhelmed and everything. So if you're not at peace, reach out to us elder women. Mm-hmm. Come and talk to us. Allow us to coach you. Allow us to just hold presence for you and be deep listeners. And many of us have learned how to authentically listen to the other. So you can contact any of us, and you'll see where you can do that on the YouTube. And then the last part I just want to say is that because we have the honoring of the masculine, the birth of the masculine, I am claiming, and I have been claiming with a number of different priestess women, that we also honor the birth and the rise of the divine feminine. And so we are doing that on January 31st, where women come together, they bring their goddess, whoever resonates with them, whoever feeds their soul, whoever embodies them, allows them to be the person that they want to be. So we'll give you more information about that later.
And before you wrap up and before we do our closing, I wanted to add thank you for that. And I really love the fact that you brought this wise woman sage, because I want to take, we all do work privately. We all are offering variety of different opportunities for people, for women, men, whomever we're focusing on to work with us privately and in groups and generally over Zoom or in other ways. So I just want to invite you we will have our information, as Christy said. We will maybe post some things in the chat. You'll be able to contact us if you want to reach us, or even if you just have questions. I have an Instagram account under Luminessa.Enjara. You can DM me there if you want, or contact us through our whatever information we have. I want to say that I have established the Fairy Goddess Mother, and I love this archetype, and I invite you, daughters, to be my goddess daughters. I'm longing to share with you, to listen to you, and to have a magical person wave my wand and do the magic words of love yourself. I empower you to empower yourself. So thank you so much for that. It was wonderful to hear. It was surprising. Thank you for that gift. And thank each of you for your wonderful shares. They were beautiful, gorgeous, as always. Yeah. These calls that we give are a gift of our time to you. And we do hope that you have felt inspired, even if it's just a little bit, or that maybe you have begun to think about some things you maybe haven't given yourself time to think about. But know that we are here for you as the Priestesses of Ascension. And we are available to be your friend, your confidant, your fairy goddess mother, or just to be here as a woman to woman in this world. I pass to you, Christy.
Blessed be. We take this moment now to really drop into the truth of who we are. We want to claim for ourselves this love that we are. In the priestess way, in the priestess path, we use the candle to illuminate the light within and to remind us who we are, that we are this love, we are this light. We also work with essential oils. This one is called Triple Goddess. It's white sage. For we spray and mist ourselves and bathe ourselves in these wonderful, beautiful oils that elevate our spirit and open our hearts. And then we have a lost art that we practice, which is called anointing. And because we can't be together physically right now, we're doing self-anointing. But basically what happens with anointing is sacred touch. It's the most wonderful touch because it's the touch where you're saying, I am holy and I am connected to source. Wants to come is the spikenard, which is what Mary Magdalene used. So I will take that. So we take the oil and we open the crown chakra, for we are the ones to receive this love and light of God. We open our third eye, for the way that we get out of the insanity of the three-dimensional world is through our imagination, our ability to envision. And the way that we live our lives is to speak the truth of love, honored from our heart, connected our heart, so that we now become wholehearted in this love, so that when we're walking forth and we're in face of any situation, we have total safety. For we will be guided, oh, don't go there, turn left here, or we will be guided, be silent, or we will be guided, speak the truth. In this moment, here are the words to say, and the words will come. And we have nothing to fear. We don't have to worry, because when it comes from source, it's for the benefit of all and the harm of none. And we love you all with such a passion. You have no idea how much we love you. And we extend our love out to you. Everyone, extend their love out to you. Blessed be. And thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for being willing to hear these words of love. Blessed be. Thank you, Luminessa.
That's it for now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Blessedness.
Take a moment to let's breathe that in, all the way in through our feet and up through our hearts and down, down, down into the earth again. And we have a Facebook page under the Priestesses of Ascension at the Ascension Priestess. So if you want